What's good, y'all? It's your boy JPN, and we back with another video, man. We back. You know what I'm saying? Just a little story time slash explanation video, and just for the black boys, for the black men out there, man. You know what I'm saying? This video is gonna be really good. So I just want to tell you guys the myths of growing up in a single mother household and stuff like that. And all the things you hear, like, yo daddy ain't shit, yo daddy this, yo daddy that, all the things about your pops, all that type of stuff, man. It's just like all that stuff's not true. I'm telling you right now, because people don't really understand how important it is to have your father, especially young black men, young black boys. Even if there might be another black guy going through the situation. I personally went to therapy to handle that situation, so I don't really have to deal with that situation. But the myth is, if your mother tells you a story, or someone tells you a story about your daddy, because it's usually about the father. Hopefully it's not about the mother, vice versa. If that's the case, there's always two sides to the story, and nobody really ever tells the other side of the story. But see, I want all the black boys, and black girls as well, go find out the story for yourself, because I remember I was doing an interview the other day. It's on my channel. It's like 2 episodes down, and it was the interview title is called what was your best and worst date, and like what would you require to be in a relationship with a person. And I remember this light-skinned girl, she said not be Jamaican, like the man don't be Jamaican, right? And just referring to all men, especially Jamaican men, it's like she said that it started from childhood. She's like, my father, blah blah blah. She went into detail about it, and the first thing I said was, well, I didn't really say this, but in my head I was like, you need some therapy, like, you need to find out the other side of the story. She's like, I know the story, like, he has kids everywhere. I'm like, yeah, they have kids everywhere, but your mother chose this man. And see, that's the biggest key point that I want to say is, don't be mad at your dad, you know what I'm saying? Or don't be mad at your mom for choosing that person. They chose that person. You have to deal with the consequences. I know it sucks, but you have to deal with it. And just like even me, I told my dad, I'm like, yo, I didn't tell my dad this, but I'm going to tell my dad this eventually. I'm going to be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You married a crazy lady, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's my mother, you know what I'm saying? Love her with all my heart, but sometimes crazy. So I got to deal with that craziness. And you can't hate them for what they chose, because they probably didn't know. They probably weren't at the level at those times intellectually there. So you got to understand that you can't just hold this grudge against them for your whole life and, ruin your life, become bitter and stuff like that. You gotta go to therapy, get healing, you know what I'm saying? Pray to God, go on your knees. Because at the end of the day, it sucks, but it's not your life, and you don't want to be held hostage. You don't want to be in bondage, be locked up with all that pain, hating your father. I'll tell the story right now. I hated my father. So I used to hate my father so much, and it was so sad that I really hated my own father so much when I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even get his side of the story. I just heard X, Y, and Z about him. And I was even talking to my grandfather the other day. My grandfather was like, damn, your father really did everything for you behind the scenes that you probably didn't know. My grandfather was really telling me, like, your father really called every single day trying to figure out where you were, putting food in your mouth, but you just didn't see it behind the scenes. You just didn't know. You were lied to. And that's the thing, is young black men out there, you've been lied to. And young black girls as well, you've been lied to. There's two sides of the story. And let's say if the person is actually a piece of shit, it is what it is. You can't control it. You can't control that. You can't focus on it because you can't control it. So all I have to say is to wrap up the story time. And conclusion is you have to understand that in our community, especially the black community, the black community, is that there's a lot of lies being told on guys, especially the men, the good men who really wanted to be there for you, but sometimes restraining orders, can't see their kids. The courts favor the women. So the man can't even see their son. Like, there's so many situations. You gotta understand, you gotta look back, you gotta think. You can't just assume, you can't just say, oh, man, he doesn't want to be there for me. He wants to be there for you. You know what I'm saying? So my dad, when he really, my dad got close is when I forgave him. When I forgave him, at that point, everything changed. And I started to listen more and understand him more. Because, he's been neglected of his child for years. Just like many of you guys out there right now. So I sort of put my story out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make a full 1 hour breakdown of this whole thing soon. But just a little video to say, hey, there's a myth out there. Trust me, your fathers want to be with you. And if the case is the mothers as well, the mothers want to be with you too. They want to be with you. And if they're not together, it's okay. Just love your parents. Don't hate them. They're the only people that are going to come through for you in the end. When all your friends and even your family, even some of your family, your mother, your father, the only people that are going to really come through for you. And sometimes your brother and sisters too, but you can't even guarantee them fully. But your mother and father will come through. Most of the time. There's different situations for everyone, but I'm talking about the normal situation, not the exception to the rule, the crazy situation. The normal situation, they're gonna come through. Trust me. And if they don't come through, hey man, don't hate them for it. Just understand that this is not your life. Your life starts when you leave your parents' house and you live on your own. You pay your own bills. You make your own food. That's when your life starts. Your life does not start until you start doing that. So, black boys, black girls out there, please contact your fathers. Get in touch with them. Contact your mothers if the roles are reversed. Just understand that you're not alone. Build community. Go in therapy. Go to church. Build, build community with people, healthy-minded people. And, keep going. Don't stop. The grind does not stop just because you're tired, all that stuff. So, black community out there, hopefully, is reaching some of y'all. And people out there going through the situation right now, don't hate them for it. I'm telling you, because it doesn't make no sense. Because I understand my father even better. I understand men better. I understand women better. I understand it. It's not their fault. It's just it happened. And it's not their fault. You can't control it. So that's the reason why you can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? And yes, they had control over it, but you don't have control over it. So you can't just, I hate you. No, you just have to live life. It happened. You have to move on. Adapt. Don't react. It's your boy JPN. We out.